What's up? What's up?
Yes, sir. We're in the
All right.
building,
How's everybody doing? Should I
man.
run let me see if I can get this right, bro. We're gonna
Starting off with some visualizations, Brad. What's up, Brad? We see you in the chat there, man.
So Brian, let me know if this music is competing.
Without talking.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get the right balance, man. So that when we send stuff over to Spotify, whatever, we got the music going under us, man. You know, I'm trying to.
Gotcha. There,
Uh-oh, we got a prop. Sounds real good. All right, man. We're getting.
You can add that in post, though, Brad.
I mean, that's too much work, man. You know?
You being a DJ right now on the spot.
Being in the moment, man. We jazz musicians, man. You got to be in the moment. You know, trying to do stuff, post.
Speaking of which, did you call that tune at the jam session yesterday?
Stablemate?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did.
You said unfortunately, man.
Well, I have been trying to redeem myself on that. So, especially the trading part, because you can't trade 4s and 8. You have to trade sections. I thought we did a good job. Actually.
Yeah, I thought I came in early on, but I redeemed myself. I came through. But did we do that the last time? We did something else, right?
We did Aerogen, which is another one that
that's right.
You have to trade sections on that, but you went to 4. You just naturally we did a section, but then you went to 4s, and we had to. But man, it was a good exercise of we got to figure it out. How are we gonna?
Right.
How are we gonna get back home? So we did that. All right, we're doing some musician talk here. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Local Musicians.
XP. I'm sorry. You always catch me off guard with it, bro.
Even our guest is laughing, bro, at that.
Bro, the guest needs to laugh because it's all about timing for them. I'm not worried about that like y'all are, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna talk a lot about that actually tonight.
Right. We are worried about timing, bro. You know? Give it to me again, bro. You always I never know when you're gonna go into
How's everybody doing? Welcome to Local Musicians.
XP.
You still
I'm not, bro. It's like a Local Musicians, bro.
Okay.
How am I supposed to say it?
That's the J Dilla. Is that the J Dilla?
It is, bro.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's the okay. All right. I give you that. All right. I give you that. We are glad to be here on this Tuesday evening with you guys.
June 18th.
We are starting to get in a rhythm with all of this stuff. We've got some good pre-pro that has gone down courtesy of our good friend and producer Brian Falgout. Actually, he didn't do anything today. I did it all, man. Let me give myself credit, man. Listen, this cat went to a baseball game he didn't show up at the jam session again. That's 2 weeks in a row, man.
Give him a break, man. He works hard, man.
Man, no, man. I mean, I don't know. I gotta really I gotta think about this, man, because his competition was there last night, man. So even he was like, yeah, I heard. So everybody's feeling it, man. But I am totally kidding. My man is a gem and does more than he should for us, and we're glad to have him. Thanks. Shout out to Brian Falgout, our producer. Sure. So yeah, man.
Louisiana in the house. Louisiana. You ever heard that before?
Louisiana in the house. We actually started our conversation. Y'all was talking about po' boys. And I guess we give them a shout out. They don't sponsor the stream or anything, but we can work on that. The po' boy shop in Decatur, man. Have y'all been to the po' boy shop? I think it's really good. I haven't heard any bad, and the people from Louisiana, like yourself and Brian, y'all are even giving them the thumbs up. You had a little snag.
I'll go back again, but it's all about the bread. The bread was right, and the
bread is right.
They said, "Do you want to dress?" Or I was like, "Okay, we getting somewhere with that."
Right. So what is that? So for those that don't know, what is fully dressed? What does that mean?
Dress has got lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and pickles on it.
Okay. Okay.
That's dress.
That's what's up. Okay.
Now, some people don't like it dressed. Some people like it naked.
I think I like it half dressed, bro.
Oh, really?
I think so. What is the yeah? Because mayo, I don't do mayo.
right.
I'm a hard no on the
Roberta's
mayo.
like that too, but I like it dressed, man. But every now and then, like if you get an extra gravy on a roast beef, it's counterproductive with all that stuff on it. So yeah,
Right, because the flavor, you want the flavor of
yeah, and you don't want the gravy to go all into the lettuce and it makes it really, really messy.
right.
Man, one time, can I tell a story real quick?
Yes, please.
I was at this place in the French Quarter called La Peniche, right? And it's a
Okay.
little small place, but it gets packed in certain times of day. So I decided to go at 2:00 because the lunch hour is over with and it's right before the dinner crowd will come in, right? So get to La Peniche, man. Nobody's in there. Maybe one other person. I
Okay.
order a roast beef, extra gravy, right? Because it's
Okay.
just me in there.
Right.
Soon as I do that, Wynton Marsalis walks in. Victor Goins, Wes Anderson, Herlin Riley, basically the whole Lincoln Center Jazz Band. They come in, man. So Victor Goins like, hey man, come sit with us. I was like, okay. So we're talking, whatever. I
Right.
forgot I ordered the roast beef extra gravy, right? So I was like, the food comes out. So I get my food and I'm just looking at it. I'm gonna probably go to the back to my table. But man, Wynton's looking right at me. He's like, hey man, eat your food, man. I was like, wait till y'all get y'all food. He's like, nah, man, if my food came, I would eat it, bro. Just go ahead and eat it. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to bite into the pull bar, right? So I just tried to go from the corner, bro. The gravy just go off face like that, bro. So Wynton was like, damn, you really like that sandwich like that, right? I was like, man, forget y'all, right? So I walk off. So I get a chance to 2 years later past 2 years. I hadn't seen the cat, whatever.
All right.
2 years later, bruh, I got a gig with Wynton Marsalis. I'm walking in, bruh. As soon as he sees me, he said, man, you that cat with the pool boy, huh? With the roast beef. I'm like, dang. That's how good his memory is. His memory is that good. Man, he started calling me roast beef, bruh.
I was just gonna say, I got a nickname now.
Roast beef, bruh.
Roast beef, man. Po'
Man,
boy
you
juice.
really like that sandwich, bruh.
Po' boy juice, man. Po' boy juice. I thought you was gonna say Wes fought you for your sandwich and he won. If you out there, come pull up. Come get me. Right. We be going at it, man. I ain't talked to my man in a minute, man.
Wes has like buku shoes, man. Wes has shoes out the wazoo. He has some, we called him Mahavishnu one time, bro, because he had them shoes that curled up like that. I think Wynton called him the king of Persia, something like that. He was like, man, it was crazy.
Man, I tell you, if you got thin skin around, man, you will never be indoctrinated, man, into these scenes. You have got to be able to take a joke and you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, man. Well, let's see here. We got who's in the chat, man? We got
Did you see Pod, bro?
I see him. I got something for you. He know I got something for him. So
I told him the Celtics rehearsed a lot, brother.
Hey, their rehearsal was against the Knicks. That was their scrimmage.
Look at William Green, bro.
Po' boy juice. I'm right
with that title.
Don't do him like that. Don't do him like that, Will.
Do it, Will. That's gonna be a hit, bro.
Don't do him like that, man. Don't do him like that, man.
Just give me a little spot on that, bro. A little splat.
Hey. But yeah, I think the Celtics, man, they scrimmaged against the Knicks. Wasn't that a scrimmage? It was like a high school. It was like a high school scrimmage, man.
Right.
You know, good little warm up, man. You know,
little snack. So
yeah, man. Jalen Brunson, he's a nice little player, man. He's got a couple good moves.
Let me get a little dim
gotta get a couple good moves.
Look, these dumplings.
So yes, the Celtics won, which was no surprise.
Yeah.
Ultimate, just a mismatch, really, honestly. Um, let's see. Yes, we just got word that Willie Mays, the great
No.
ball player, and I mean, geez, my father said that's the greatest baseball player he ever saw was Willie
The
Mays,
way
just passed
that
away.
the way he caught the ball though too. Man.
Um, so it's the icons are leaving us. 93 years old, but that's a long life, man.
93. Wow.
So and we want to we're gonna stay on that a little bit. We're gonna show our condolences to our brother Joe Rita and his family, sending our condolences out to Joe, whose father just passed away. So we are sending peace and blessings to you and prayers, my brother.
Yeah.
And I lost my father. T has lost his.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We haven't talked to B, but it's like, yeah, man, it's as we get up there,
Yeah.
that's part of the that's just part of the cycle, man, unfortunately. But our prayers are with you, my man.
Yeah, for
If you're
sure.
out there, if you're watching Joe, I did
Especially
send him a text earlier.
so
So
close to Father's Day too, man. So yeah.
I think it was on Father's Day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was on Father's Day, I believe. So yeah. Let's see here. For Tyrone, this is Brad asking for Tyrone before your guest comes in. Have you heard the Rialto Youth Jazz Orchestra?
The answer is yes, and I work with the Rialto Youth Jazz Orchestra. We call them RIJO for short. So thank you for that. Yeah, they are doing really good things, headed by Gordon Vernick at Georgia State University. So they have actually a summer camp, jazz camp going on this week through Georgia State, and they're going to be performing at the Rialto on Friday. I think they're doing a dress rehearsal at Red Light Cafe Wednesday.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, Brad, they're really good. Shout out to the work that Gordon Vernick is doing in middle schools and high schools with the Rialto for Youth.
Yeah, Gordon may be joining us on Friday, actually, a little bit. I
Oh,
texted him
really?
today for our thing. So,
Nice.
but going back to our brother Joe Rita, our brother John Chalden, who is Joe Rita's best friend. They have been
Loosely.
friends and battery mates for a number of years. And John says your dad was correct. So, another shout out
Your
to
dad was correct about Willie Mays.
oh, maybe that's what it was. I thought he was
Yeah.
being slang. Oh yeah. So
You said
maybe
your
that's what it
dad was
was.
the. You said your dad was the best.
Oh, maybe so,
Had
maybe
said
so,
Willie
maybe
Mays
so.
was the best baseball
Yeah,
player.
yeah, yeah. Yes, he did. He said it's between him and Roberto Clemente. So I know
Oh,
Quinones
interesting.
like to hear that one about Roberto Clemente. So, but it
Why you
was
want to
between.
talk about my boy like that, brother? He ain't even on
I
yet,
just
bro.
said it was between Willie Mays. That's what he said. It was between Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente, man. Roberto Clemente. So
Hey, by the way, I just messed up
we have
again.
another comment about the Rijo.
Why
Uh,
Tanis was in it? Yeah.
White Tannis, what's up? Yes, White Tannis. What's going on, White Tannis? We still got to get you on, man. You
Why
out there
Tanis got to put
burning
that
it up.
clav, bro, a whirly or whatever you have, man. I think you got a whirly now.
So, all right, my man. So, let's see. We got a couple things in house to take care of before we bring our guest in, and the flavor of the week is that we will be at the distillery this coming Friday. It will
Yes,
be
sir.
a trio show with, of course, myself, Mr. Jackson here, and the venerable Mr. Shaw, Craig Shaw.
Venerable.
So,
Pretty much.
pretty much. So
Again.
we're going to do the show is from 7 to 10, and we are going to play some selections for the audience. It's correct.
Okay.
We're going to play some selections for you right now.
I'd like to play a couple of selections.
Yeah, we're going to start with bass solo, and no.
I'll never
So
let that cat start off with a bass solo again.
don't let, man, you will be there. You can go home and come back before he
Go on,
stopped.
come back.
Look, Craig Shaw can play some bass, y'all. We don't even understand how he plays the bass the way he plays. He works
Yeah.
a 12-hour a day job at a body shop
Yeah.
and outplays everybody this side of New York City for sure
Yeah.
on the upright bass. It don't make no sense, man. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're glad to have him. That's our brother. We have 23 years between the three of us, I think. Something
That
like
sounds
that.
about right. Yeah.
Playing together. So that'll be great. And then the thing that we really are excited about, which is going to be the beginning of the LMXP jam session, which is going to be a what's the
Invited.
show we used to watch? Pros versus
Pros
so
versus Joes.
this is kind of we're kind of basing it on there was a show that used to be called Pros versus Joes, and it was retired NFL, NBA, whatever guys
Boxers, everything.
and cats that think they could hang getting off the couch, right?
In the rec
Or
leagues, whatever they in, yeah.
whatever they in, and they would have to play against these guys and see. So we're we're not necessarily saying they're playing against us, because actually the kids are going to play with us. So instead of having the kids play together as they normally would if there was a jam session and they just all kind of get together and play with they have to really play with us. And then there's going to be a little bit of feedback session after they play. So you can take that for what it will. I will tell you this, it's not going to be a safe space though, because I've heard about these safe space jams. There's one in Chicago, man. My boy George Flutis told me that students, I forget what university, but they formed a jam session and it's a judgment-free zone. Wow. So, yeah, what you think about that, bro? Judgment-free zone.
Well, you put the J in judgment comes from jazz right there, but you gotta have some judgment in that bad boy.
I mean, I don't know how you can possibly how do you get better if it's a judgment-free zone?
Man, you gotta have somebody tell you, man, you're not swinging, bro. You gotta have somebody tell you that. Otherwise, you wouldn't know. How would you know?
It's the little things that make a difference. One guy can say, I mean, think about the times where somebody just said one thing to you and it was like, poof. Yeah. Oh, because you're not developed in that way yet. So when someone that is, on a higher level hears you play, they're not it's not a criticism thing where they're saying what they're saying just to make you feel bad. You have to read between the lines and listen to what they say, because there might be one little thing that they say that opens you up to a whole nother world,
Dude, nobody's above it. I mean, Marcellus went through it when in the 80s
with Art Blakey.
He was on with Blake, and then he was on the road. He was playing with Shirley Horn, the great Shirley Horn, and she called her on it, and she was like, "You ain't playing the changes," because he's playing a lot of these acrobatic stuff. She's like, "You're not playing the changes," and he said she was right. She called me out,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we all had those moments, and our guest could also probably attest to those things as well, going through the schools that he's gone to and things that he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't have growth without the feedback and how that makes you feel,
Right.
You have to have, and look, trust me, if the cats didn't care, they wouldn't be telling you anything. So if they didn't think you were worth it, I mean, there was somebody I played with last night. It was not even worth it for me to tell them anything. Nothing I could tell them was gonna make them better at the drums.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, hey man, how you doing? Okay.
Right.
That's it. But if the person was worth it, like there was a bass player that we talked to, I was like, yo, bro, you need to do this. I took his phone from him, whatever, and he wanted more.
That's right.
So hey.
Right.
I was like, bro, you don't need to look at the changes. I give you 2 passes through the song. You should have it memorized.
And one thing is, that I've been thinking about is I haven't necessarily shared this with T yet, but I know he feels the same way, which is you know, learning, especially having to learn some of the jazz concept is only going to make you better at
Yeah.
anything else that you play. It's so you hear the, oh man, I gotta learn that, man. I don't play jazz. Why am I gonna, every cat that we've had on this show, whether they play R&B, they play rock, what do they always talk? They talk about their jazz training,
Right.
and how that
Right.
William Green is in the chat right now. He talked
Right.
about it. Is
Right.
Tom Gross, all these high level cats that are playing other styles of music,
Right. Right. Right.
but they have come through and gotten some of this, man. And that's all we want to to share, is we play other styles too.
Right.
I don't know anybody that makes a, I mean, I guess some people make a living doing one thing, but it's it's not always about, it's not about making a living. It's about how good of a musician do you want to be, because learning through jazz, learning some of these concepts, man, it's going to make your ears are going to be so open when you go to other things. You're going to hear things that you never even thought you could hear. So that's what we're trying to promote. That's what we're trying to teach.
Right.
Is it easy? No, it's not. Uh, are some of the people that really have given their life for this gonna let you cut corners? No, they're not.
No. No.
But it's gonna work itself out, man, in the wash, and you're gonna be better for it. So just gonna shout out a few of the cats that are gonna be with us. So Nick Krupinski is gonna be playing sax. He is a student of Will Scruggs and myself.
Okay.
Uh, Brandon Lewis,
Yep.
piano player who is a student of Tyrone, is going to be playing. Omar Askew is another student of
Mhm.
Tyrone. Alex Berry. Let's see, Zach Johnson. My man's Fit, but I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name. He's a student of mine, but also a student of John David up at Berry College.
Cool.
Aiden King and Joey G is going to be they're all gonna come in, and they're ready, man. They are excited. They're in the chat. We formed a chat for them. And they're talking amongst it. They're all excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them were out at the session Monday talking to us and talking about
Yeah.
it and talking about how they're ready. We've assigned them songs to learn, and they're down for the cause.
Yeah.
No kid wants to be sorry. They want to
Right.
be great.
Right.
So we want to give them that opportunity, to be great. So
Yeah, that's the real classroom. I mean, the classroom that we have inside these universities, which I'm a part of, and and our homes that we teach out of privately, and our studios that we teach out of privately, that has never intended to be the real classroom. The real
that's right.
classroom is get out there and play. Get out there and be with cats who you can learn things from on the gig. If I'm
Right.
if I'm learning, I could read a manual to learn how to fix a car all I want. But I got to get on there with a skilled mechanic to see the little tricks of the trade. I got to get my hands dirty. I got to get the grease on me. I gotta have the tools. Then after it's over with, I can't just throw my tools in the toolbox. I gotta clean them, because see that's how you learn those the things from real mechanics. They're like, hey man, just don't throw the thing in there. Put the thing according to size, and put it back. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
come and sit in, the cats who really want it, they'll say, hey man, can I help you bring your stuff out? I'm playing on your drums for free. you
Right.
know can I
Right.
help you do something? Can I do that? It's all those little things. That's the classroom. That's the real world, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brother Green says you can't get better as a musician without being judged or constructively criticized. I mean,
I like the constructively part in there too. It's not just
exactly.
criticism. Yeah.
Exactly. You cannot.
Construction alludes to that you're building something. So you're building the chops or the language that's needed to survive. So if somebody's not helping you with the construction of those ideals, then you're not going to just pick it up on your own.
Right. John Lematina, good to see you, John. I'll see you in the morning for a drum session. Uh, all my students learn about jazz and learn to play jazz, and they invariably like it. That's another thing is once you are turned on to something and you begin to understand, jazz is it's kind of like a painting, right? If you look at a piece of art or something like that, of course, you can look at the picture on the wall, it looks like one way. But once you start to really kind of really stare at it and see, you start seeing all of these other little things that are involved. Our resident producer is going through a little taste of that himself. Brian has been on a little bit of a learning about jazz and trying to really, he just got Milestones, right,
Oh,
with
wow,
Miles
nice.
Davis. And he's like, so I was like, man, that's a great place. You start with that. Don't start with Brad Meldow, and I mean those guys we love all those guys too. Glasper and all the
Yeah,
new cats. I mean, but those cats, they have history in the old stuff. That's where you kind of have
yeah,
to start. And you start from square one and you kind of build yourself up. So
yeah.
that's what's up, man.
I like Brad
Absolutely.
Meldow when he was called Bill Evans the first time,
Right.
but he took it and ran with it. But
He did. He did.
that's what
But
that's what he is the first time.
again, the lifeline goes back to
Right,
who? Bill Evans.
right,
And Meldow
right,
took that. I mean, there's several guys like that,
right.
man. It's like, okay, you like this? Well, why don't you go see where this cat
Yeah,
got his stuff from? You
you could
know?
hear Sonny Rollins' tone in Joshua Redmond because Joshua doesn't have Coltrane's tone. Like everybody was doing that, but he has the
Right.
same similar sound to Sonny Rollins
Right.
for tenor sax. That sometimes some Lester Young too, but yeah, but mainly it's not a Coltrane school sound that he has. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, man. So you guys come on out Friday. There is no cover charge. It's just a great place to hang out at the
Yeah,
Distillery of Modern Art, 7 to 10, and and check out what kind of some of the stuff that we want to try to uh, keep going. We're looking for a place to maybe do it once a month. Coming up here in the future. So, but you'll get a taste of it if you come out to the Friday show. So,
yeah.
all right, man. So I think we need to bring our guest in, bro. This is one that we've been. Now, I texted the cat yesterday, right? Because
Okay.
because we tried to get him before.
Oh,
Oh
he's
man,
slippery,
I
bro.
got
He's
this.
slippery.
Oh man, I'm out of town. Oh man, I'm on the sea. I'm on the Sea Breeze cruise. Oh man, I'm in Cuba, man. Oh, I'm in Puerto Rico, man. Oh man, I can't.
He's all
So
over the place, bro.
I said, hey man, when you coming on the show? He's like, anytime. I'm like, here we go,
He
man.
said time though, bro. That was important. Any time.
He did say okay. So what
Ah,
is
maybe
that's
that's
a
a
loose
code, bro.
that's a
Yeah,
loose
yeah,
term. Is that what you're
yeah. Maybe
saying?
it is.
All right, all right. So listen, you know, I'm trying to really remember when I met this cat because you were telling me about him
Yes.
before because I was looking for a Congero, man.
Yeah.
And one of my mentors, Count Mbutu, bless Count,
Shout out.
passed away.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was like, man, I don't even want to play this stuff anymore because without the Congero, man, it's pointless, really. I mean,
Right.
you can do certain things, but you know how much I'll almost say worship
Right.
the conga drums, man, because the
Right.
congas tell me what to do as a drummer. You
Right.
know, it's not the other way around. The congas tell me what to play. They're first. They were here before the drum set was. So when I'm playing with the conga player, I'm listening to what they're playing, and then I'm playing something to try to weave or play with them.
Right.
So, but I played with a couple of guys. It's like, nah, man, it's not, because they didn't really have the thing that I was looking for, which is really the folklore. First, the folkloric and the history of the instrument, the history of the rhythms is the first thing. I
Right.
mean, I played with some really great guys who are intuitive, more of a like street kind of player, and they're great. I love it. They're great. There's a lot of things you can do. But when I finally got a chance to play with this cat, I was like, oh, okay. There's one left. Now I'm sure there's more. I don't know where they are. I wish I did, but it was exact. It was like, okay, and it was like boom, because drums and percussion don't always.
It's
They
gotta
a
be a
lot of
marriage,
times it's a
bro.
fight. I'm sure he'll talk about that. Is a lot of times it's a fight because drummers don't understand that haven't either played with a lot of percussionists before or don't understand the role of a real when you're playing with a real percussionist. It's a partnership. A
Right.
lot of drummers want it, they think it's just color. Oh, you just coloring
Right.
stuff. I'm in charge. I'm the leader, right? But
Right.
when you get that right blend, man,
Right.
there's nothing like it, man. There's nothing like it. So
I didn't think our next guest even liked my playing, man. When I first met him, he was just so like laid back and deadpan like that,
you
bro.
just
I was like, whoa, okay. I thought I just played well. Then one day he said, "Yeah, Ty," and that was it. I was like, "Oh,
that
I
was
guess
it,
I just sound good."
man. So without further ado, from Buffalo, New
Yes,
York, our brother. He might become a third member of the team at some
he
point,
might
man.
have
Because
to,
we
bro.
we
He might have
we
to.
there's only certain cat like that you just have that vibe with, man, when you have
Yeah,
conversations
man.
with,
Good cat, man.
and he's kind of like he's just like us, man. We have the
Man,
same
bring him on,
conversations.
bro. You got me. You got me. Just bring him on, bro. Bring him
All right,
out.
we're gonna bring him on. All right,
Bring him
without
out.
further ado,
There he is.
Frankie Quinones, brother.
Q.
What up, my
Puerto
brother?
Rico. What's up,
Yes,
man?
sir.
What's up?
Man, chilling, man. I'm in the backstage just cracking up, man. Ty, I never said that to you, man. Ty be making up.
Do I? Frank was like, "Yeah, Ty." I was like, "Whoa, okay." I was like, "All right."
I'm trying to. He was a little bit of a man of few words when we first. I think he just checking the situation out,
That's what he does.
But
Yeah,
then when
no,
you,
I'm naturally just a quiet cat, man. If I'm talking to you, and it's because I know you, but I'm generally just a quiet cat, man.
but man, once you get comfortable, bro, I'm like, ooh,
I heard your
ooh,
favorite number is one. I heard your
he's
favorite
one
number
of
is
us.
125.
He's one of us. Oh,
125. That's it.
125.
Play it. You might hit. You might hit, man.
man, what's been going on with you, man? Because we haven't talked for a minute. I think the last time we got together was at my house, man, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
just
yeah,
working
yeah.
on some stuff, man. We got to get back to that, man. But what's been going on with you, man?
Man, I've been blessed to be busy and working a lot in music. Doing some of my own shows over at the Aurora Theater as part of the Club Babalu series, which is a series that really focuses on showcasing the Latino talent that's in Atlanta and metro areas of Atlanta, from different cultures, from Puerto Rico to Cuba to Panama to Colombia, Dominican Republic, Venezuela. And so we've been blessed to have a space at the Aurora Theater to showcase those shows. And so we've done a tribute to Ruben Blades. We've done a tribute to Celia Cruz. We've done, tribute to classical salsa. Next month, we will do a tribute to Vallenato, which is out of Colombia. At least one of the forms of Vallenato is out of Colombia. So we're going to do that. And then we're working on putting the music together for a night of 80 style merengue,
Oh
which
wow.
is a whole different, it's a whole
Wow.
different concept
Okay.
than what I actually played today. And so, got some great cats that I'm working with. You both know Tony TC Castillo.
Yeah.
TC, the
So
real
happy this
deal,
brother.
man.
So
Yeah,
happy
he's
to have him.
partnered with me in helping me arrange the music and get it together. And so super excited about that series. And then, playing with, whoever dials that phone, man. And I've been blessed. Had a great weekend on Friday. Got to play with Chandra Corelli at the Perfect Note.
Is that right? Oh,
yeah.
I heard a story about you. We'll talk about that later. But
about me.
Yeah, about you, man. I got one for you. But go ahead, keep on going. Don't worry about it. It's
all right,
coming.
we're gonna get to it. I don't know what time he's saying, man. You gotta watch that cat, man. You gotta watch that cat. He got a lot of.
Only thing he did was tell the truth. That's all he did.
Tell the truth, man.
But Friday, hit with Shonda Corelli. Saturday, played with Bob Baldwin.
Okay.
And that was cool because I got to share percussion duties with the Brazilian master percussionist, Café da Silva.
So I saw you post that. So tell me about him, man. I'm not.
Man, I thought I knew a lot about Café, but I learned very fast that guy. I just knew the tip of the iceberg. But he's obviously from Brazil. He spent years with Djavan, who's a Brazilian, Brazilian star, man. He's insane. And gets recruited by Roberta Flack.
Wow.
So he hits the scene like late 80s, around the time that, he just missed the Michael Jackson wave, like Paulino da Costa, all those percussionists that hit the pop scene. Like he just barely missed it, but moves to New York, has played on so many records, and just being able to play next to him was insane. And he actually gave me incredible bandedo lesson. I'm getting into the Brazilian bandedo. Rafa, shout out to Rafa Pireira for schooling me as well on that, and Colin Agnew, who's forget about it.
Colin, man.
Colin is a problem, bro.
Colin, man. Colin be studying, dude. Colin be studying, man.
Yeah, like Colin will sit down and play rumba and sound like he's from Havana, bro. And that dude, he's just an entire problem, man.
And he records too. He does a great job.
Yeah. Oh, super dope. But Cafe was just, man, incredible. And then Sunday, I got to really, really fulfill a big dream, which is to play with David Sanchez and his band.
Oh, wow, nice.
Down in Macon for the Juneteenth festival. And so that was amazing because I've been a David fan since high school. And I've told you, Chris, the whole story. And to be able to, I've done some workshops and some other things with him, but to play with that band, with Luis Perdomo on piano, Ricky Rodriguez on bass, and Little John was on drums. Man, it was special, man. And so it was an amazing weekend. And aside from that, doing salsa gigs, doing jazz gigs, blessed to do sessions from home for different artists like Mr. William Green.
Yes, sir.
William Green has blessed me to be part of his projects. And also, playing with Sonny Emery, part of his band and some of his projects. I used to play with a guy named Tyrone. He don't call me no more. He just I don't know what's going on with Tyrone.
I'm not calling anybody, bro. I'm not calling anybody, bro.
And playing, just trying to work as much as possible, and not be comfortable. Trying to do different things. Playing with Jesse Diaz, Cuban singer, which you guys know. We have a show coming up on Saturday at the Apache on Marietta. And you know how incredible she
Please
is.
let her know, because it's still I want to get together with her, and we were really, but I thought she was, I was doing other stuff. She's from Matanzas, so for those that don't, that's a deep, a lot of the stuff that I've studied is from that small little island of Cuba and Matanzas. And I remember when I met her,
I can't ever talk to Chris and him not say his favorite word and rhythm. What's your favorite rhythm?
My favorite rhythm?
You say word too. What's his
Word.
favorite?
Word is one word.
Okay, I got to think about this.
Oh, come on, man.
Man,
Y'all ain't playing no abakwa, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no real abakwa, bro.
Every time I can't never have a conversation with Chris and him not say abakwa, man.
You got me.
Focused on that abakwa, bro.
Abakwa, man. I mean, that's funny. You got me on that one. This is true. Anyway, continue, man. About
just trying to stay, as busy as possible, doing some things with fortunate enough to be part of some of the shows with the Black Gold Orchestra with Larry Wilson. I know you guys had him on. I'm also a big fan of the show, so I tune in often. And man, whoever calls, and again, just trying to be as busy and play as much as I can.
Well, here's a little comment that somebody misses you on the Monday night session when you were coming in, sitting in with us. This is the great Pearl, one of the servers at Napoleon's, and she says miss you on. And she always asks. She's like, when's Frankie coming? I kid you not. She's always asking when you coming back.
To call it cat because we had some congas there already, man. So yeah,
man.
Man.
Okay, so here's Joe comes in to the session on Monday. He looks and goes, "Man, Frankie here?" Totally yeah. I'm like, no, those not Frankie's.
Yeah. These drums are not pretty enough to be Frankie's.
So, man, you got people looking for you, man.
That's awesome. And when I get to go down there, it's always an incredible time. Not just playing, but seeing the talent that comes through there, man. Is always an awesome time.
Did you know Joe in Buffalo while you were in Buffalo, New York?
I didn't know Joe.
What about Sanford? John Sanford. Did you know
John Sanford? I did.
Okay.
John Sanford came into Buffalo. And quietly just killed everybody. Because that cat is so, man, he's so cold, bro. Yeah, he's so cold. And he came in and it seemed like within days, man, everybody knew who he was, and he was playing with the top jazz guys in Buffalo that he still has ties with, and still plays with every now and again. But John, I did know from Buffalo. We actually played at the world famous Anchor Bar.
Anchor Bar.
We had a steady gig, a Latin jazz gig at the Anchor Bar, I think Friday or Saturday nights. And he would come through and, be part of the band, and we would play. And that's where I actually met and started playing with John, was there. But Joe, I didn't know, but I had heard of Joe because one of his mentors and one of my teachers, mentors too, is Jeff Jarvis.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so Jeff, was a huge educator on the scene. Still is, but in
great arranger. Yeah, he's a arranger.
Yeah, he was an arranger, band leader. He had the music printing company.
Yeah.
So he was very involved in the schools, and so I've known Jeff since grade school. And that's how I heard of Joe was through Jeff.
Wow.
Okay. Well, take us, man, just a little bit of your upbringing with. Were you playing any other instruments before you tapped into percussion? Were you playing drums first? How did that all kind of get going?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Pentecostal Spanish church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was strict, man. Growing up, we called it Alcatraz. Man, it was strict, but I'm blessed to come from somewhat of an open-minded family. Right. So when the church got too strict and too out there, my grandparents were grounded enough to say, "Hey, man, that's crazy over there." Right. But it was still strict, and so playing in church. You guys know my cousin Joey.
Yeah.
Chunky came some years later, but Joey played, and it was just a long line of drummers. You know,
music is at a premium in Pentecostal church. Music is like, you got
and it was just a long line of drummers, man. And I was very low on that totem pole. Like, I couldn't keep a beat. So my Uncle Joe, shout out to my Uncle Joe Gonzalez. My Uncle Joe was like the musical director, and I get on the drums. He's like, man, get off of there. And you can't cut it, man. You don't play fast enough and loud enough. Get out of here.
Right.
The congas were there at church, and nobody wanted to play the congas because they weren't mic'd, and you had to hit them boys if you wanted to be heard. But I wanted to play, so I was like, well, I'm gonna hit these things. And I, of course, you start off, you don't know what you're doing, just playing whatever. But through the public school system, the elementary school that I went to in Buffalo is a school called, we call it school number 76, is Herman Badillo. We had a Latin band there.
Okay.
And so the music teacher was a guy named Mark Garcia, who's a cat who sounds like he's got a Latin name, but was not Latin at all. And but he was smart enough to bring in cats from the community. And so he brought in another huge mentor of mine, Mr. Hector Diaz, credible bassist, lives in Rochester, New York. Cat is ain't none this cat cannot play. So Hector would come in and work with us. He also brought in a saxophonist from the Dominican Republic, Martin Dalmasi, who's teaching I believe he's at New England Conservatory now. And he would come in. And so that's where we started getting formal lessons in Latin music, Latin rhythms, learning tunes, studying Tito Puente, studying like Sonata Ponceña, and really easy, basic tunes for us just to kind of learn form, rhythm, concept. And that's where I started kind of getting very serious about conga playing and started really learning that, you don't just bang on these things. There's a technique, there's a process, there's rhythms from not just Africa, but rhythms from Cuba, rhythms from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and then going into Latin America. I mean, forget about it. But that's how I started. Went on to high school, but when I get to high school, I ran into that church situation again. Too many drummers. So, in high school, the band teacher at 76 said, listen, man, you want to go to the Performing Arts High School? They got too many drummers. So why don't you learn a different instrument so that you could go there? So I picked up the saxophone.
What?
Do not ask me to play the saxophone. Okay. I picked up the saxophone and I played Barry sax.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's how I got in. And all through high school, I played saxophone.
Wow.
But luckily, there was a dance teacher who's now passed away, who really was pivotal in changing my life, really. Her name is Yvonne James Brown, and wherever you are at, Ms. Brown, I love you forever. She had a dance program, very competitive, high energy, that focused on Afro-Caribbean rhythms.
Nice.
So that's where I got to play percussion all through high school while, going upstairs and playing my Barry sax, trying to play the Barry sax in band. But that's where I really got serious about playing, because she exposed me to Don Elias, Monongo Jackson, who I'm going to play with in a few weeks.
Wow.
She exposed me to train Miles on a deeper rhythmic level. really exposed me to one of Chris's favorite groups, Los Muñequitos de Matanzas, Los Pepines, all the folkloric stuff of Cuba, things that, of course, coming from the Pentecostal church stuff, you ain't never gonna hear any of that. Right. So she really exposed me to a lot of that music. And because of her, I actually applied to Berkeley. She's the one who made, because I was like, man, I'm gonna go graduate high school. I'm gonna be a Buffalo police officer or something. And she was like, no, like, you got to go to Berkeley. And I'm like, no, man, that's for rich kids.
Right.
I come from a single parent home in Buffalo. I don't really, moms don't really have it like that. She's like, no, we're going to do this.
Wow.
And because of her, and obviously my mom, shout out, Mom, I love you. My mom also worked hard for me to be able to go to Berkeley, and, the rest is kind of history, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Great down the line. Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
But yeah, it's been a wild ride since then, man. Since then.
And then your legacy extends into Berkeley too, because you have two daughters who went to Berkeley?
Yeah. So of course, you go to Berkeley. Most people don't finish. That's the truth about Berkeley. One, a lot of cats go on the road. The reality is, the other side, it's really expensive, and it's too costly for cats. Which that's a whole nother conversation. Like, this is a whole nother thing. So, but I was able to go for 2 years, and got to study with the great, Giovanni Hidalgo, which was amazing. But more importantly, I met a cat there, Ernesto Diaz, who doesn't get a lot of credit. But this cat changed my life.
Wow.
Like, I get to the school, and you Ty, you're a professor, Chris, you do teaching. I sat down and I had decent hands, and Ernesto, first I get there, I want to study with Giovanni. That was the whole reason really to go. So I get there, they're like, yeah, Giovanni ain't here, man. After I threw my fit, I said, well, I'm here. He's on all the pamphlets, but he wasn't really teaching there.
They got you. No.
Oh, they got me, bro. They got me. But it was a blessing in disguise, because, I walk into the percussion room, and here's, Ernesto Diaz, short Colombian cat. And he's so cool. He's like, hey, man, sit down, let me hear you play. So I was like, I'm going to give it to this cat. I'm going to smoke this cat. So he listened to me for about 5 minutes. And, he's like, yeah, you sound good. And he said, but you don't have any fundamentals. And I was kind of offended, and we go jump into the lesson. At the time, lessons were only 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, pay all that money for 30 minutes. But in that 30 minutes, I was instantly humbled, because he taught me, like, the importance of clave, the importance of building a conversation, the importance of language. But really, he's like, you need to work on your sound. And instantly just broke me down, man. Yeah, that's man, that cat. Oh my God, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Ernesto's a bad cat. Changed my whole approach. The only cat who could really keep pocket and play language at the same time.
Wow.
And you won't even know that he's killing you on this killer solo and keeping pocket. He's just an incredible cat. And I studied with Ernesto for a year. And then came Eggy Castillo, who toured many years with Arturo Sandoval. He was part of a legendary Puerto Rican group, Batacumbele. And Eggy took me to a whole different level in terms of technique, because I would bleed a lot. my hands would open up, and I was thinking, yeah, this is part of the process. You going through the fire, and then he was like, man, you stupid. Like, no, man, you got bad technique. Wow. And you're playing from arms and shoulders instead of playing from your wrists. Like, all your power is in your wrist. And so he had me do these ridiculous, what I thought at the time were like ridiculous little exercises of like heel, tap, moving fingers.
Yes, sir.
And then, but over time, what I noticed is that it brought my playing from wilding out closer to the drum.
Right.
And I started playing, and that's how I play today. And
it's the same thing as the Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, man.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a game changer. Like, I rarely have to use tape or anything. And so shout out to Eggy, for teaching me all that stuff. Yeah, there he goes, man. Wow. Eggy's a bad cat, extremely well-known band leader. He's got some great concerts on YouTube. Just incredible cat, and a comedian too, man. Cat is insanely funny. And then finally came summertime, and Giovanni comes in for the percussion festival summer program, and I get to study with Giovanni. And of course, Giovanni is teaching more time signatures, how to play in different time signatures with feel, how to build the solo, the importance of sound. And then he's got like the Beatles playing in the background. You're like, what? Like, you're trying to make sense of this whole thing.
Right.
But he just had a concept of getting cats to play. And but if I hadn't have gone through Ernesto and Eggy, I would have not been ready at all.
That's what I was about to say. You had to go through that process, and there's an old adage that said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He literally appeared when you were ready, because he wasn't there when you weren't ready for him.
Yeah, it would have been totally over, over my head. But those guys taught me, but my real first teacher is my cousin Joey. And so Joey's he's a year older than me.
Man, y'all favor each other though a lot, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, if you see Joey in the right angle, I'm like, wait a minute, that's Frankie.
Right.
Yeah. We were rehearsing with David this past weekend, and Little John kept saying, hey Joey. I'm like, man. He's like, man, I just look alike, Yeah, we get that a lot. People call me for gigs. He'd be like, hey Joey, man, you available on this day? I'm like, I'm available. Yeah. People call, hey Frankie, you available? Yeah. We just roll with it. But he's my first teacher. Joey, as a kid, was a prodigy on percussion. Just explosive. He plays more, key. He's not a trained pianist, but he plays keys. He comes up with killer arrangements, but his first love is percussion. So as a kid, Joey would teach me, but more I would try to play like Joey played, growing up. And even now as an adult, like, if I don't play for a week, and you guys know, if I don't play for a week and I get on the drum is like, man, get out of here.
Yes, sir.
But Joey could go months without touching a conga, man. And he'll sit down and the drum is like, yeah, man. Man, music, I tell people music really loves him, because he'll sit down and go. And sometimes we'll sit down to play, and I'll goad him on a little bit, try to get him to go. And I'm like, man, this cat is rusty, man. I'm gonna smoke him.
Right.
Man, 5 minutes go by. Once he get hot, bro, you better go running, man.
Right.
He'll turn your world upside down, man. Just his ideas, and he's just naturally, gifted. Where I've had to put in the work.
Right.
If I'm any good, I've had to put in the work. He's naturally gifted, and Chunky, my cousin Chunky, is another one. Out of the three of us, I always say Joey is the greatest musician. Chunky is the most creative. Because Chunky's also naturally gifted. He doesn't, he don't study nobody, bro. He'll tell you, oh yeah, man, listen. He's really pulling from himself. He's real sensitive to everything around him, man. He pulls from anything and every situation. And he's the most creative out of the three of us. Like if you sit down with him, you trade 4s, 8s, 16s, he gonna blow a hole right through your soul, bro. After some time,
Right.
What's the attribute for you? Like you mentioned for both of those, but you didn't mention for yourself. What is your
what I have over them, and I'll take this to the bank, is I'm more knowledgeable. I know more than them in terms of rhythms, history, players. And what's beautiful about that is when we get together, to play, it's special because for one, we don't have to talk. Like we could go months without playing or talking to each other. We get together and it just starts clicking.
Wow.
And there's something about it. It's real special, man. Like it's like we don't talk, we just click and play, and we'll invent a whole arrangement just by looking at each other, Like I'll look, Joy be like, we'll do this thing where Joy be like, yo, like that's how it sounds when we're talking to each other. And I'm like, no, and Chunky's like, and then at the end it's like, it's something crazy, man. It's something unbelievable. But that's what I have, is that I know more, and when we try to do something, I'm like, that's not really authentic, to it. So, but yeah, those Joey's my first teacher. Even Chunky being younger than us, I mean, I learned from him a lot. But formally, those are the guys that really, really put me on in terms of schooling. And I also learned from cats in Buffalo. Believe it or not, people think Buffalo is just snow and chicken wings, and 4 Super Bowl losses.
Y'all definitely got those,
bro. We were on a gig. Me and Frankie, bro. And after we finished the gig, we get to the hotel.
Now you got AFC Championship losses,
bro.
So.
Wait, but this is the best one, Chris. We were in there, bro, and Frankie was like, "It's over with, man. It's over like that." And then 24 seconds was left. How many?
What are you talking about? The Kansas City game?
Yeah.
With the one 2 years ago, right? Which was, yeah.
Man.
Frank was like, it's over with, man.
Even I still feel that one. And I'm not even a
hardcore, bro.
A diehard.
Oh, man. Bro.
Cheetah was on.
Aside from the snow, the chicken wings.
He want to change the subject, man.
And the 4 Super Bowl losses, we haven't, we have, and still, there's still an incredible community of musicians. And so, I learned from, guys who were gigging around town, the great Emil Papa Latimer, who was passed on, who was just incredible with us as kids. It was old school. You play the wrong rhythm. He said, man, put your hand on the drum. Put the hand on the drum, man. He was like, bow. I was like, I'm going to tell my mom. He said, go tell her. He was one of them cats, man.
Right.
It's a great organ scene in Buffalo, too.
Yeah. Great organ scene. Joey DeFrancesco, originally from Niagara Falls area.
Okay.
Before Philly, everybody's like Philly. No, he's from Niagara Falls, New York, man. We gonna claim it.
Right.
But yeah, great organ scene, great jazz scene. Also great Latin cat who was a mentor to me was Wendell Rivera. Recorded a couple CDs. John Sanford, I think, actually played with him in his band, and I got to record a record with him. So it was a great community of of
It
musicians.
sounds like it, man. I mean, it sounds like you had a village, man, of people that contributed to your development and your. I mean, this is what we, would love to talk about. What we're all about is
Yeah,
trying to
Pablo.
get them to trying to get the younger generation to understand that it's all about mentorship, man. I mean, and the things that you're describing, the things that you're talking about, you know you've listed 4 or 5 different teachers, man, including your friends that
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah,
all sort of, and that's like that's what it's all about is uh learning from the elders, right? And then communicating with your peers and bouncing things and playing together, bouncing ideas off of each other. One guy has this style, another guy has this style. You guys, and trading and sharing information, man. That's a beautiful thing to hear about,
yeah. And I can't. Church also played a big role because it gave us a place to play.
Yeah.
And in those days, now you go to church and like every church is kind of playing the same songs.
Mhm.
Back when I was growing up, every church had their own style, like their own thing going on. And so it was just super dope, just growing up in church. And that's where I got like my first gig. My first gig was at a prison, bro.
What?
Yeah, my uncle had a band called the Sounds of Glory, and I joined. He let me into the band when I was like maybe 11 or 12,
Oh wow.
and I was the conga player in the band. And the first gig was at Collins Correctional Facility, baby. Man, I was suited and booted for this gig, Ty, at the prison. Man, I was suited and booted. I was so excited to play.
Right, right,
Um,
right,
I didn't even care if it was at the prison or what, but we went
right.
and played and took the good word to the brothers at the
Nice.
prison. And those were some of my first gigs. Was a part of that band. Really a ministry that my uncle had at the time.
Were you going across the bars?
No, man, but I got in trouble one time because the band was cooking, man. The band
Right.
was cooking and it was swinging. And a prisoner came up. He said, "Man, let me get that cowbell." Because I had, the little percussion set up. With
You
the
gave it to him too, didn't you? You gave it to him.
Oh yeah, the man, the way he looked, I was, hey man, go ahead, bro.
But the officers came in, huh?
But man, he took the bell and started like swinging
Oh wow.
on the cowbell. And so, I got reprimanded for giving them the cow. I'll never forget that. I got in trouble for that. But
Wow, giving somebody a musical instrument
yeah, I guess they took it as me
could be a weapon.
trying to 12-year-old me passing contraband. I don't know, something crazy like that.
Wow.
But those were some of my earliest days of playing. So
Wow.
and so it's been great, man. And I didn't get to finish Berkeley, but I've been blessed. My oldest daughter did, and my middle daughter is going into her last year now.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, man.
So I didn't myself get to finish there, but I'm blessed that God gave me two people with those degrees coming. So
Beautiful.
super excited about that.
Incredible. And just incredible, man. What I guess, as a percussionist, I want to, because a lot of people, man, they don't really know the difference, right? They just see a cat back there hitting on stuff. I remember I can't even remember what the band was. This cat, all I know is he had he must have had, man, he had the rack, bro. You know, like I'm talking about not just I'm talking about the top rack with stuff was everywhere. And this is on television, you know, I may be like in my late teens or something like that. And I don't really know. So, but I'm seeing this cat, man, he's just nonstop hitting on stuff, man. And I'm like mesmerized. I'm thinking, man, this dude is bad, man. He's going around, man. He's on one thing, and then he's coming back around. He's coming on hitting on something else, and then he's, you know, he's going to the bongos, man, and you know, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, man. What was so funny? Years later, I saw the same performance.
And you
know,
realize,
with a different eye, of course, and I'm just like,
oh
man, this cat's jive. You know. Now, how? I guess I'm not. I don't. You know, the average person. What's the key to knowing if the because there's different roles for a percussionist, right? There are percussion.
Mhm.
Sometimes, man, you are there to color. You're there to color the you know, depending on the style of music that you're playing, or you're more of, you know, just adding textures and that kind of thing. You're playing in a, you know, in a more a situation where you're really having to play rhythms on the drums and stuff like that. That's kind of different. So, what do you think people? What do you want people to know about the difference between when a cat is really playing and when a cat is not playing? Or can you tell? I mean, is there something that you can sort of point to and say? You know, because man, percussion is easy. So here, well, okay, should I bring up the point? So
bring it up.
I came up with this, bro. The percussion perpetrating propensity. we call it triple P for short, bro. Because
And it seems like it's the easiest thing to do.
it's
to
the
get into a band.
easiest
It's like,
thing to just cats to get. Oh man, just go play. You know, you cats that don't even know have any. That all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah,
I'm a
man,
percussionist, man.
I'm a percussion. Oh yeah, I'm a percussionist. So how do we end this, man? What's the keys to? You know, we got to figure something out.
Yeah.
See?
So, man, the thing with percussion is you have cats who study very serious, right? Because the thing about percussion is every instrument, whether it's the congas, timbal, bongos, even down to the minor percussion, right? Maracas, every shaker, each of those instruments has its own discipline, right? Like playing bongos, it's
Man,
a whole different thing.
that's a whole different thing.
Playing congas, it's a whole different thing. Playing timbal is a whole different thing. And so, you know, down to the minor percussion, it's maracas, it's a whole different thing. And so I really try not to be the percussion police. You know what I mean? Like I really try not to be that guy where that comes on the gig and be like, man, this cat, man, come on, man, you know, because what I found in the industry is you have people who approach percussion, some like myself, where they study each of the instruments and each of the disciplines and really dedicate the time to building the sound for each of those instruments. And then you have cats who approach percussion as a sound, right? So the conga is a sound, the bongo is a sound, the timbal is a sound. So they're approaching it by just like a landscape of sounds versus truly understanding that, hey, this instrument has this discipline to it. And I always encourage cats like, hey, man, you play congas, man, you should know the fundamentals. Like you should know how to play tumbao. You know, you should know how to play. You should know your rumbas. You should know, you know, all your Afro Cuban, Afro Caribbean fundamentals. You don't have to be a Giovanni or Richie Flores, you know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
you don't have to be those guys, but you should know the fundamentals.
Mhm.
And in the industry, you have, you know, drummers who are frustrated and create, you know, some of them are not frustrated. Some of them are great drummers and they just want to create another of income, and they buy themselves a set of congas, this little set, a little rig, and you know, they start playing, and all of a sudden they call themselves, you know, percussionists. And I don't, honestly, I don't hate on it because they approach it from a whole different thing. But I do try to encourage cats to, man, learn at least the fundamentals of this instrument. You know, like I remember a couple years ago, I ain't gonna name the cat. I don't think it's anybody that you guys know, but I was trading percussion with this guy, and he was playing, and he started hitting like the side of the drum, taking sticks and like beating the bongo, and like just, you know. But I understood, okay, he's approaching it from this sound thing. And so at the end, he was like, "Hey, man, how do you get that sound?" You know, after he saw me play, I said, "Well, man, you know, I kind of gave him a quick lesson, like, hey, each of these instruments has its own discipline, its own school. You know, you should learn the fundamentals because if you learn those, you can do a whole lot more. You know, you will be able to do a whole lot more if you know the fundamentals of each instrument and how to get the right sound out of each of them." So it's an ongoing thing with percussion. You know, you're gonna have a percussionist who's super dope and knows all the fundamentals. You're gonna have a guy who just is a cat, you know, not just a guy, but they're super dope, you know, ladies who are playing percussion now.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have cats who approach it different ways, you know, but I always encourage cats to at least learn the fundamentals. It's like, you know, if you go to a jam session, you see a trumpet player, you know, if he knows the fundamentals of the instrument,
Right.
sits on drums, you know. Percussion is kind of like
Mm.
people really don't know, you know, about the fundamentals of each of these instruments. And so you know, as a professional working musician, I try to give the cast the benefit of the doubt, you know. Where, you know, I've hung out with Cuban cats where they'll, you know, Chris, they'll be like, "Man, get out of here! No, that's wrong," you know. But I do understand that there are people who don't grow up. They don't grow up in this, you know, with the culture. They don't grow up with the music. They don't grow up with these instruments, so they are approaching it from their vantage point and their experience in life. You know, whatever music they grew up listening to, it's how they approach it. So I think it's just going to be an ongoing thing, you know.
I think that you guys have such a responsibility because with the advent of more world music being put into place, and I think rhythm and percussion and stuff like that is so a part of the world presence of music. Like piano is not in every culture, but rhythm and drums is in every culture, and you guys have to just kind of keep learning more. How is that for you as being a percussionist? Is there new things that you're picking up or new stuff that you're adding to your bag, or the responsibility seem like it gets more because you gave a master class at Kennesaw how funk drumming percussion is a whole different thing. It's not based off of salsa rhythms or whatever you, or you talk about go-go music and stuff like that. So how much are you increasing, or do you feel like there's pressure for you to increase so much knowledge or gain more knowledge, or talk about that if you can?
Yeah, it's never ending. You know,
Yeah.
the learning process never ends. And like I grew up playing, for example, I grew up playing bomba, which is rhythm from Puerto Rico. It's a family of rhythms. And playing this weekend with David, um, I
Mm.
realized I don't know anything about bomba, because he's like, oh, there's every town has a style, and I'm familiar with a lot of the popular styles, but there's like bombasica, is that tune to tune that tune to tune that tune, but depending on where you go, you might hear it to tune to tune to tune, and there was this, and he was like, "Oh, play it this way," and I was just like,
Is that kind of cool?
you
That's
know?
kind of cool because usually cats just let y'all go. I mean, we don't know. Like when I hire you for stuff, I don't know. I tell you what I think I like, and you say, "Hey, try this rhythm out." But once you get started, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things feel good, but how's that for you for a cat to say, "Nah, do this"? Like, you know,
Um, I mean, I guess like you kind of know the cats who are gonna come with
right,
specific stuff because they know,
right,
they know. But like for your situation, it's depending on you who you have on drums.
right, right, right,
It's always who's the drummer,
right,
you know. And so
right.
like I know you use Chris a lot.
Yeah,
And so with Chris, I know he's very familiar with, Afro-Cuban stuff.
right,
And so I know if he plays something, I know how to respond to it or play along with it.
right,
You
right.
know, playing with other drummers, like in town, like Sonny is very specific.
Mhm.
Sonny will go into like a rumba Havana style.
Wow,
And I mean, he will go deep, you know, and he's looking for you to play so that it makes him play.
wow.
So it really depends on who you're playing with, who the drummer is, and every drummer, and Chris mentioned it earlier, it's like a marriage. Drum and percussion, you always got to be aware, okay, yeah, this is the band, but who's the drummer? How am I going to play with this drummer?
Right,
Like recently, played with Little John, and I played with Little John on the cruise, on the jazz cruise, um, and that was completely different.
right,
You know, that was like we did an '80s tribute. He's got the Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute thing, and those are very specific percussion parts that have nothing to do with Afro-Cuban music.
right, right,
Mhm.
right.
You know, and it had electronic stuff, and he's like, "Hey, man, I need the snaps here. I need this here." Very specific, and the percussionist that he uses most of the time is Miguel Guyton. So and shout out to Miguel. He's on the road with Gladys Knight now. But I hit Miguel up, right, and I'm like, "Man, how do you play with this cat? Because it's not. I just can't play whatever. I can't play what
Right,
I'm feeling,
right.
right?" And so with John, I know your parts, know the song, know your parts, because he's gonna know them, you
Yeah,
know. And Miguel told me the same thing, bro. Know your part, play the original parts that are there. There's going to be opportunities for you to enhance and stuff, but really play the part. So I know when I played with him in those situations, I know like this is how I have to approach percussion. But then we played with the Davi stuff. That was completely different, you know, and I learned like that cat is really deep because Davi's music is a whole different thing.
yes.
And we're playing in 6, we're playing in 7, we're playing in 5, and not really emphasizing the 1 because the music has to like kind of float.
Mhm.
And that was a whole different experience, where he was more leaning on me playing the bomba patterns, the patterns that go with the music to
It's gonna
play
glue
along.
it together. Yeah, the whole thing is gonna be glued
Yeah.
together by you. Yeah.
So it's a different experience. So it's really about, man, who's the drummer? When I'm going into a situation, who's the drummer? What is the experience going to be like? How am I going to enhance this music? And
Mhm.
my role isn't to really be the drummer. you know, that's the drummer's job. My role is to really complement in those situations. Now we playing salsa, you know, as the conga player, timbal player, mainly conga player. I got to put the band on my back. There, I'm the drummer. There, I got to play pocket, and there, I have to really drive the band, and everybody's has to play off of what I'm doing. You know,
Right.
so it's a different situation, but you know,
Yeah,
that's
but
how.
well, I mean, yeah, it's everything has its own has rules or its own sort of thing that it goes by. You mentioned go-go is, check
Yeah,
out I mean a go-go percussionist um is way different than a salsa, percussionist or a Latin jazz percussionist.
yeah, and
Uh,
go-go, man, go-go took me a minute
that's
because
some stuff, man.
I thought, you know, when I first, I'm like, man, these people got the mini congas and they got no technique. It just it was, to me, it was like it's just a bunch of cats playing crazy. But man, I years ago I started playing go-go here in Atlanta with a group with Mike Burton, Melvin Jones,
Oh yeah.
Will,
Yeah,
and that's where I was like, man, I really got to study this stuff, you know, because this is a whole different thing,
it's
you
the
know. And
swing.
oh my God, the
Mhm,
swing,
mhm.
the feel, even the sound, right?
Yeah.
The sound is not like a regular conga sound. It's a whole, it's like a almost like a tone open slack sound. It's like really weird. And I went down that foxhole of studying like all the DC bands. And me and Ty have been up to DC, and whenever I got a chance, you know, to get away, I would, you know, go. Don't laugh, Ty. Don't do it, Ty. Don't do me like that,
I know.
man.
I probably know where you were going, bro. That's all. You know.
Anyways, back to the story. I would I would you know, I would go check out those bands,
Uh-huh.
those local bands, you know, in Chocolate City,
Yeah.
and like, oh, this is a whole different thing, you know, to the point that I got me a pair of the mini congas and would just work it out playing to records, you know. And when I play with different drummers in town who play go-go, I've been playing a lot with a Lewis Newsom.
Yeah.
Mhm,
You guys know Lewis.
Most
mhm.
definitely. Yeah.
We did a go-go thing. Also, you know, with Lil Jon doing a go-go thing. It's a whole different. That's a whole different discipline, man.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um, do you find it's interesting you bring up drummers, right? And you said who's the drummer? You mentioned that several times.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so I've had similar experience of like who's playing percussion, right? So because we're kind of thinking in that same is like, okay, if I play this, I know he should play that or something similar to so when you don't get that, okay, so how do you work that out? How do you deal with because you know what's supposed to be there, what's supposed to not be there, and how do you work that out? How do you deal with when uh you're playing with someone that just doesn't really know any of the stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna fight the rhythm. Like I'm not gonna create this tug of war, right? Because there's an audience. You know,
Mhm.
people are there to listen to good music or listen to the music. So I'm not gonna create this tug of war where like musically, no, it's this way, and and then it creates this tension in the music. So what I try to do is try to be smart enough to be like, okay, this cat really doesn't know, so I'm gonna play along with him, right? And just playing with big ears, listening, you know, and this as a percussionist, it happens a lot of the times, you know, and just playing with big ears, staying out the way, playing less, maybe playing more shakers, being more subtle, and trying to support the melody as much as possible, right?
Mhm.
And not really trying to create this tension in music, because if the rhythm has tension, it will impact everybody else in the band.
Well, I gotta
You know what
ask
I
the
mean?
same question that Chris asked to you, because this cat is very particular, bro. Chris is very particular.
Oh, I know, I know.
So, so Chris, can you answer your own question? Like, what happens when you have a percussionist that is not gelling like you or responding like you want him to respond?
You're asking me that?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
as a I mean, I would say similar to what Frankie said, man. That you just try to make it groove somehow. You know, I
Your
think
facial
one of
expressions,
the
your facial expressions are totally different from Frankie's.
well,
Though.
but I mean, but I guess the thing for me is because I don't, percussion. I don't run into you don't really run into that many percussionists anymore, right? So
Yeah,
it's more for me it's more the bass player. You know,
right, right, right.
what ends up happening with either the bass, because you can be, Frankie will, could speak on this, and you too, Ty, because
Mhm.
um a lot of times in school, if someone gets a chart and it has, it's supposed to be some sort of uh Latin style, it doesn't really say what the style is, it just says Latin. Okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I always say, well, if someone was coming from another country and you stuck a chart in front of them and it said American,
Right,
what would you expect them to play?
right.
So I tend, so I'm like, so why, why would you just say that? And I've had many conversations, man, with uh with different cats about this, and it's just obviously it comes down to laziness most of the time, which, because a lot of times the instructors don't know either. They're like, oh, it's just, it's just. So then you get, the drummers trying to play some sort of, you know, Afro-Cuban thing. The bass players playing samba, the piano players playing some Mexican stuff, the freaking horn players playing. So it just ends up, it's like it just, man. I've been there, bro. You see,
Yeah,
y'all laugh, but I'm telling the truth.
yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody's guessing because nobody knows, and it happens all the time, man. And it's like,
Oh,
you know if because a lot of times, especially with bass players, man, they don't know anything about tune. They don't know anything other than
doom, doom,
what they've
doom,
heard on
doom,
a Chick
doom,
Corea
doom,
record, which is
doom.
great.
Yeah.
And I say that with, obviously, Chick Corea is one of the greatest masters but Chick Corea came up with his own. He came up with his own formula of what his music was. So you
Right,
can't, like, he's got his own Montuno. When
right,
Chick plays, he
Yeah.
came up with
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
that's is everything that you can't go by a Chick Corea record to say Latin, because it's like it's not, it's his own
or
version
Michelle
of what
Camillo. I used to
Yeah.
be into Michelle Camillo, and I'm like, oh no, this is not what Now,
he's a little more.
oh yeah,
He's a little more. He's a little bit more. You know what it is, though.
yeah,
With
yeah,
Chick, it's a
Mhm.
hybrid of so many
oh
different
yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
sometimes. And these bass players, it's like they're listed. Oh man, I checked out Stanley Clark, and well, okay, that's cool, but man,
Right, right.
it's those cats are so into it's a hybrid of what's
It's
going on. You
fusion.
guys,
It's really
it's
fusion.
it's a true
Yeah,
fusion,
yeah,
right? Which, yeah.
yeah.
So that's more of what I experience, is like, is nobody, everybody's just kind of guessing at what Latin is, which is a
Right.
problem. It's like that's just not taught. Uh, you know, it's just not taught like it
Yeah.
should be.
No, that's a really good point. Like moving to Atlanta, when it came to salsa, I really played like the New York style, right? Like the Quinones, Bobby Allende, that percussive approach to it, which is like more 90s salsa, and also influenced by 80s, 70s salsa from Puerto Rico mostly. And salsa is really song from Cuba. Salsa is just a marketing thing that they came up with, but it's originally song from Cuba. But moving to Atlanta, I got exposed to playing with musicians from Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Peru, because this is truly an international city, and clashed a lot in terms of feel, because they're like, no, 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 play Venezuela, and I'm like, that ain't salsa. This is,
Right.
But to Chris's point, there's, what is Latin? It's a lot of different. It's a melting pot of different rhythms, and I wish cats would get more familiar with those rhythms. From each of the country. Each country has a stamp on a style, a swing. Right. That in moving here, I got more exposed to it in terms of playing it, and it was a learning curve, man. So now when I play with Colombians, I know, oh, it's this feel,
Right.
With the Venezolanos, oh, it's this feel, Right. And then when I get like with my Puerto Ricans from New York, it's how we play it, but it's a melting pot of feels and rhythms, man.
Yeah, and with all jokes aside, all those sessions that we had in DC, man, you were working hard, bro. I mean, we didn't have time for other stuff because you were like, man, layering parts down, and it was just great to see you work in that environment and see you record, because that's a different animal altogether. We've had tons of records that we played on together where it's like you're creating so many parts on the fly, with stuff that's existing there in the moment. So, I mean, talk about your recording prowess. Like, how do you approach that? Because not everybody can do that with creating parts and creating things.
Yeah. So first, I like to listen to the drummer, the rhythm, and what does the artist want?
Right.
First, what does the producer, what does the artist want? I'll ask, do you have a specific rhythm in mind?
Right.
Even if you are, even if you don't know the percussion Latin rhythms, sing it to me. What are you hearing? I've had producers come up to me and be like, it helps me to understand what you are trying to go for. So that's where I start. And then I listen to the drummer, because, one thing, percussion has to kind of respond to what the drummer is doing, especially if you're going to hit anything hand percussion, whether it's bongos or congas. So if the drummer is playing, you don't want to play on top of what is happening.
Right.
You want to play something that's going to play off of the drummer. You know what I mean? And so,
I could mention somebody's name right now, but
so I'll start like really listening to that, then coming up with a pattern that's going to complement the drummer. And I usually start with the bongos, congas first, and then go into bell patterns, adding tambourines, adding shakers, soft, whatever, adding any type of special effects that I use. But it really starts with, what does the artist hear? What is the drummer playing? And then on top of that, what is the bass player playing? What is, the pianist playing? What style of music are we playing? Like I've been blessed to do like a lot of smooth jazz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking of what would Don Elias play, what would Monyongo play, what would these, even Taku Hirano, what would these guys play um, in these situations, and how do I make it smooth and easy on the ears, and it comes from years of listening, and that never stops.
It is
That
so
never stops,
refreshing to hear. It's so refreshing to hear you mention names and knowing the history of the music, man. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
that's a lost cause, lost case these days, as most people don't really know the history and know who were doing things. And most times we think we are the originators of thought and originators of playing stuff. And I'm like, man, how could we? There's other
No,
people
man. Yeah.
smarter than us, more talented than us that play. Let's start there. you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And
For sure.
you also mentioned two instruments
Oh, yes.
that I'm tired of. Okay, there's two
Put it up.
percussion instruments
Put it up there, bro.
that
Uh,
always get lumped together. So we're gonna take care of, for our viewers who don't know the difference.
Yes.
And
Okay, I'm
sometimes they
being
change it to
am I being
vowels.
sarcastic? I'm being a little, yes, I am, because you should know this, okay? We're gonna explain the difference between the bongos
Mhm.
and the congas, okay? They look different, they sound different,
And
and
abaquat
we
too. Figure it
no,
out.
we ain't talking about Abaquad tonight, bro. Abaquad, nah, we ain't talking about Abaquad. But we're gonna talk about these two and
Yeah.
get this over with, and we're gonna spam this little blurb all over the world so that people will, although one of the funniest explanations or the mis explanations of this is when Chappelle was talking about different races responding to their
Right,
own
right.
style of music, and
In the
how
barbershop, right, right.
he was in the bar, right? So the white cats was the guitar with the rock guitar,
Right.
the brothers was the drum set, and then the Latins was he said congos.
Yes.
So all right, so we have our resident producer is going to now give us the expert. Now, what are these, sir? Could you please explain to the general public what we're looking at here in this picture?
Yeah. So these are conga drums. And it's important to know that there's really three main drums. The largest is the tumbadora drum. The medium drum is the conga, and the smallest drum is the quinto. Um, in some cases, you can see a smaller drum than the quinto. It's called the re quinto, which is tuned higher, and a larger bottom drum, which now they call it a super tumba. But reality is it's tumba, conga, and quinto, and they all have their own rhythm and language. And so in popular music, like you see me play, I'll have all three of them and playing different rhythms. But the reality is each drum has its own language and rhythm. You can hear a lot of that with Los Muñequitos de Matanza, Los Papines. One of my favorite rumba groups is Jaruba Andao from Cuba. You'll hear a lot of what's happening with these three drums, but these are conga drums. All things drums come from Africa, but this drum is more known to come from Cuba.
I would think that's a great explanation. Okay.
Yeah, so these are a cheap set of of congas. They're cheap
Right.
set of congas, but good for beginners. Good for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these two sizes would be a quinto and a conga, I would say.
Yes. All right. Okay. So we've okay
Oh, there
now.
we go.
Oh, whoa. So these look different. Oh, they are different. They sound different, and they have a different name. Now, what are these?
These are bongo. Also,
These are bongos.
these are
Oh, okay.
bongos. Yeah.
Okay.
The difference is, they're obviously smaller, traditionally played held between the legs, sitting down, and mostly played in music called song. But you find it again in popular music because of the sound. You can
On the
get
beaches with some hippies between their legs. Yeah, you know.
yeah. That too.
That's
That
Jim
too.
Bay, bro. That's the Jim Bay. They moved to the Jim Bay now.
Oh yeah, they went to Jim Bay now.
We don't have time to go into that though. They on the
Yeah.
Jim Bay, bro. Bongo? No, they're onto the
Yeah.
Jim Bay, man. They went
Right.
to straight to the mother drum. All right, go ahead, Frankie. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The cool thing about bongo is it's his own world, man. It's
Yeah.
got its own discipline, its own language. The smaller one is called el macho. The largest one is called hembra, male, female. They're tuned really, really high. And in traditionally sung music, it sounds like it's improvising over what the conga's playing over the natural tumbao pattern, but it's got its own discipline. Some cool bongoceros to check out from Puerto Rico. Anthony Carrillo, incredible. But if you want to hear some bongo player,
The
some bongo
fingers are
playing,
important on this too, right? Your fingers. I've seen a lot of
yeah,
that. Yeah.
you mainly play with the tips of
Yeah.
your finger instead of conga's more hand. But yeah, Anthony Carrillo is super, super dope bongo player. You should check him out. Actually, Carl Perazzo, who plays with Santana,
Yes,
he
sir.
plays timbal. He's a freak of nature on bongos. Really dope bongo cero. And I'm trying to give you real bongo ceros to check out. And more popular salsa bands, Gran Combo, check them out. Great bongo player in that band who his name is like right here, but I can't remember it right now. Rey Colon from New York City.
Oh
He's
yeah.
recorded so
Yeah.
much stuff on bongos. Yeah, bongos is his own thing. Definitely check them cats out.
I had a chance to play with Ray. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Applause.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
Great. Just
It's funny you say that, man. In Buffalo, I had a church gig. And so I was like one of the few percussionists who had a paid church gig. And man, people would see me at the mall. Church folks would see me at the mall, supermarket, and be like, "There goes the bongo man. Hey, bongo."
Oh.
And I just had to roll with it because what are you gonna be
Yeah.
like? Hey, man, give them a quick history lesson.
you need to. I'm
Bruh,
tired of it, man. You need
look,
to.
bro. The church that me and Chris played, the lady writes on the check all the time, the organist. I'm like, I don't even have an organ up there, bro. But
Okay.
I'm still cashing that check, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is crazy that they don't even know. That is a whole separate instrument.
All right, we have a question from Brad that has been pulled up by our producer. I guess he wants us to get to this, so we will. Okay.
Yeah, he kind of answered it, but he might answer it more.
All right.
Yeah.
Frankie, did you use any Santana albums in your learning percussion?
Man, absolutely. Santana, and famous percussionists have said this, after Santana, that's a percussion band. So yeah, after Santana, that's a percussion
Just
band.
hit me what you said.
Yeah,
After Santana.
after Santana to start, that's a percussion band. Yeah, so some of the albums, Shaman is a big one for me. 1974 Lotus, I also really, really love. Abraxas is also a record. And he all of his live stuff right? And Santana has always had legendary players. You know, Armando Peraza on congas. You don't know Armando, man. That cat
Yes.
extremely special.
Can we pull up a picture of Armando Peraza?
Yeah.
He's very, very important.
And somebody also mentioned Mark Quinones too. You mentioned him as well with the Allman Brothers. Mark Quinones was playing.
Yeah, Mark is. I mean, people ask me if we're related. We are not related. We are not related. Not. I've never even met Mark in person. I've met his brother, who's a super dope producer, drummer, percussionist, Camilo. But Mark is incredible. I mean, he's recorded most of the salsa records from the 90s, 2000s, even now. And for him to shift gears and go Southern rock with the Allman Brothers for 20 plus years. But where I first heard Mark was with Spiral Gyra.
Oh, wow.
When they had Oscar Caltaya on bass, they had a record that came out in 93 called Fast Forward.
I remember Fast Forward, yeah.
And Oscar wrote a tune on the record called Para Ti Latino that Mark takes a legendary timbal solo on. That, like, when I heard that, my mind exploded. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is it. Like, this is it for me. That was a record that changed the game. Yep, that's Armando Peraza. But back to Santana, after Armando, there was Raul Recall, that together with him and Carl Perazzo, them guys, man, they forget about it. You know, those guys changed the whole percussion dual thing. You know, they had arrangements together. And now, you know, Raul Recall has passed on, but their conga player now is from Puerto Rico, Paoli Mejias, who, besides playing with Santana, he's got some Latin jazz records that are unbelievable, man. He's got Antonio Sanchez on some of those records, nice. Jaleel Shaw playing horn on those records. Wow. Great bassist from Puerto Rico, a really good friend of mine, Aldemar Valentin, that you should check out. This great cat, Luis Perdomo, I think, plays on some of the records too. Paoli is super, super dope. I got to see them last year here. I think at Chastain with Cindy Blackman on drums, Carl on timbal, and Paoli. It was incredible. But yeah, Santana has always had that star lineup of heavyweights.
They played tonight in Duluth, I believe.
They had a yeah. I mean, just incredible. He's also had great other timbaleros too in that band that have just been amazing. But those are like the guys that really influenced me.
Nice.
All right, man. Well, dude, we just sitting at home on the couch right now. This could go on and on. We are going to wrap it up here. We got a couple of more for Frankie. One in particular that we've been waiting on.
Yes.
Man, I heard a story about you, man.
Oh boy.
And it was told to me by somebody else that's in this this particular group of people talking. And I
got a bad internet connection.
You ain't got no. This is not a bad one, bro. This is not a bad one, bro.
Let's go.
Put it up there, bro.
So we're gonna call this segment.
Put it up there and see if he talks.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, so we're gonna call it.
Tell the truth. Tell it.
Does that ring a bell?
It don't ring a bell, Ty.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
should
So
I
I'm gonna
start it
let
off?
Tyrone. I'm gonna let Mr. Jackson take over from here because
So
he laid witness on this. So I just want to get your side of the story.
it's weird that you said witness too, because the name of the song that we were rehearsing was called Testify. And it's originally done by Diane Reeves. And there's a certain vocalist that does this song, right? And in the song, she gives everybody a chance to testify, right? Is it coming back to you now? Is it coming back to you?
Man, you got to be careful with Ty, man.
So as the story goes, well, do you want me to continue or
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, set it up, man. Set it up.
If you want to pick up, just let me know. Pick up where I leave off. Just let me know. So, bruh, I had worked with this vocalist before, and the exact same thing happened to me. And this vocalist is notorious for running the whole set down. If you make one mistake,
Yes.
you start the whole thing back over again, right? So, man, we in there, and it's the same thing has happened to me before. So we go over the song. I think I was in the group first before Frankie got in it, and I kind of whispered to Frankie. I said, "Hey, bro," I said, "Bro, don't do everything at the beginning of this thing, bro." Frank was like, "Yo, Ty, I got it, man. I got it." I was like, "Okay, bro. I'm just letting you know, bro."
He did.
We get to it was during COVID time. So, everything is popular about doing a live recording with no, streaming with nobody in the audience, bro. So, get there, do my little solo, whatever.
Right.
And the person sings about it, whatever.
Well, you got to set it up by letting people know what's the concept though of the whole.
Okay, so this person wants you to tell your story through soloing.
Right.
And so they get to the point and it says, the person will say, Tyrone Jackson, born New Orleans, Louisiana, came out to the East Coast in Atlanta. Tell your story. Tell it. Like that, right? So I take my solo. You be going through the solo. Yes. Like that. He said, they get to Frankie Quinones. Percussionist. I think this person even said you were from Cuba. They didn't even say where you were from. From Cuba. Tell your story. Tell it. Frank goes, he's killing it, right? And I'm looking like, uh-oh.
Bro, I didn't see it coming, man. I didn't see it coming, Doc.
Through the entire solo. And then Frankie cascades. He says, that's not the truth. Tell the truth. It's not about chops. I want to hear the truth, Frankie.
Bro,
solo.
It was so hot and I was worn out. Bro, I had nothing left in the tank, man. I'm not one of those musicians, who's gonna come up with an excuse and be like, "Oh man, it was a bad." No, bro, I had nothing left in the tank, Doc.
And that's what got him through it, bro. Because when he started off that next solo, he was like, "Kum, kum, kum." She said, "Yes, Frankie, yes." Kum, kum, kum. Tell it.
For mama. I said, "For who? For mama." Oh man, I remember that. Oh god,
bro, the same thing happened to me, bro. I started playing on stuff. Tyrone, it's not about chops. I was like, whoa.
No, and the thing is, we get off the stage, show's over, man. I'm dripping sweat. So, you look for your bandmates to give you some moral support, man. Ty goes, man, I'm glad it wasn't me this week. Oh man. Oh, tell it. Yeah. I remember that. That was wild.
But then you said, hey, then you said, then you ask him about what happened, and Frankie was like, man, but I was telling the truth, man.
Oh, man, I was talking, man. I was speaking. I spoke every language I had in the bag, bro. bro, when I tell you I was sweating.
He was sweating, bro.
I was sweating,
he told every story, bro.
Bro, I'm dead.
Oh man.
Man, that's one of the best. That's one of the best stories. It's even better.
After he finished that solo, he was drenched. She said, "Tell it again." He went, yes.
Yeah, it wasn't none of that. None of the no fast, no crossing hands, none of that, bro. I was crawling through that thing, man.
Oh man.
Man, dude. Listen, man. We have loved it. Man, you gotta make a regular appearance, bro. We gotta have you.
Man, for sure. No, thanks for having me on the platform, man. Major fan of the show week to week, man. I got some highlights of the show that I keep on my phone, man. My favorite one is Doc Gordon, when you guys had do your due diligence. Oh man, I keep that on replay, bro. You know, when cats be acting up at rehearsal, man, I pull the video up. Do your due diligence.
Oh, I'm dying over here, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. This is great, man. All the guests you guys have had, man, is great, man. Much success to y'all, and hope to be back soon, man.
Man, I can't wait to play with you again, man. I've been
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
man.
man.
PhD, so I haven't been doing a lot, man. But I promise you, as soon as I get back writing again, I'm starting to, pull up my old stuff and start writing again. You're the first call, bro.
No, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Love you guys, man.
Hey, man,
all right, brother. Too, we'll see you soon, man.
All right. Peace out, man. Thank you.
Right.
Oh man. Q, man. Love Q, bro. Oh man.
Yeah,
one time we were in DC, bro. We had to pull a car on the side of the road because we were laughing so hard, bro. We could not stop laughing, bro. And people don't know how funny this cat is, bro.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Oh man, we're at over 2 hours at this point, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it, but I know we got to kind of wrap it. And that interview was so good. He actually saved Mark Podhorzer a real good beating that he was going to take tonight that we're going to save for next week. Because, man, we were getting ready to get him real good.
It's going to be real good.
So
hey,
we'll
man,
save.
What about, you got this package in the mail, bro.
Oh, man. My man, Andy Sigwell, bro, took me down memory lane, sent me a book from my past, this is the first Prince book that had anything really on the cat, man. Right. It was, of course, unauthorized, but he and I used to live in this, man. I don't know where did you find this, dude? Like, I haven't seen this.
Sig, I was trying to catch him on video opening up, bro, but before I could get
in a million years, man. And so thank you so much for this gift. I was checking it out actually last night on the gig, and just, man, memory lane, man. Sometimes it's just like, wow. I hadn't even thought about that book in 30 years, probably. So
yeah, he got you good, bro.
You got me real good on that one, because you was like, when you handed me that, I was like,
what could it be?
It
could be so much.
I thought what I thought it was going to be was like
Yes.
a bunch of old pictures or something like that. So I was prepared for that,
Right.
But that, man, what a great gift, man. Thank you so much, Sig. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, guys. So Friday, come on out to the Distillery of Modern Art. It's gonna be a blast, 7 to 10. See what we're cooking up. We got the trio, and then we've got these man, they are just pumped, dude. I mean, they're talking in the chat amongst themselves. They're so we're on to something, man. People want to be great. Kids want to be great, man. They don't want to be enabled. They don't want to be they don't. So we're going to try to take those who want to go higher. We're going to try to take them higher, with the little bit of knowledge that we have, but we want to pass that down. And so we look forward to that. You've got a show coming up at St. James. Is it next month?
Yeah, next month, July 28th.
Okay.
Also, St. James Live, I believe that's at 4:00. And then
that's
Sunday. Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So we'll talk that up as well. So
right. We can talk that coming. We have I also have the Bowser Theater curated event. I believe it's July 14th. It's Tony Hightower.
Okay.
And
okay.
That's gonna be cool too. And we got some stuff coming up too, recording sessions, a bunch of stuff on the work. So it's really cool.
Yeah. I have, of course, Mikeville Band tomorrow at Tin Roof. Come out, check that out. It's Sunday. I'll be at the Roswell Cultural Arts Center with Joe Granston and his quintet with Kenny Banks Sr. and Neil Starkey, Mike Walton. There's tickets available for that. And it's going to be Sunday, this coming Sunday. I believe doors are so it's an afternoon show, which is even better. 3:00 open doors, and then 4 p.m. is the show.
Oh, Sunday I'm with Lori Williams at City Winery.
Okay.
8 p.m. show.
Okay.
I don't know if it's sold out. You know how she does it, so it might be sold out. But just go online and check it out. But at City Winery this Sunday, great lineup. So it's going to be cool. Okay. I can't wait. We got a rehearsal Thursday, so I'm stoked for it. I've been listening to the songs. You know how you got to do it. You got to listen to the stuff and immerse yourself in the songs, right? Kind of like what Frankie was talking about. So yeah. I got to immerse myself.
Hey man, do you learn the songs before rehearsal though?
Nah, I show up, bro, and I'll be like, "What's this part, right?" Nah, of course I got to, bro. I gotta learn the stuff for Friday, bro.
Just a little. Learn what?
That
ain't my fault. The one thing you can, don't be mad at me, bro. You was like, hey, what about this? Okay. So, I like that. Now that's the most problem of the whole song, bro. That ain't my fault.
What were we on back then, bro? It was just like,
well, I mean, but that's the thing is like, that's what cats. I mean, that was as close as, we live in Atlanta. We do our thing here, man. But that's what New York is like. Those guys, all the time is that you're inspired. That inspiration. Right. You got cats that are, everybody's, man. We have to really, and we talked about this. We need to spend some more time in New York. I remember
when Delbert Felix came in to play on that session, and he's like, "What are you?" He's like, "What are y'all doing?"
Because he'd been away from that for a while.
He had been away from it.
He was in it, but he played great anyway. But I mean, it's just, but yeah, it's like, man, if you're not in that, it's like, oh boy. But being in it, man, 24, I can only imagine, man. But we got to definitely we gonna get back to it, man. Once you get through stuff and
well, I'm that much closer,
right?
Because my study got approved by the IRB board, the Internal Review Board. So I will be running the study.
Awesome.
Then I have to code it and write it up, and then I'll be Dr. Jackson once I defend it. So yeah, so
man, we're gonna be able to deal with you with that doctor in front of you, man.
You already know you won't. You already know you won't.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay.
You already know, man.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
With you, Falgood, cool. Mark Podhoser, no. He's got just like Dr. J, you know, they had to respect.
Go ahead to get Podhoser would be getting it, man, but he asked for it.
He
man.
gives it too, bro. He gives it too, bro.
Gives it. He's the one that started it because he was the one that had a problem with us watching the Lakers show, man.
Exactly.
And he came at us with having attitude because he's a Knicks fan about us talking about winning time, man. About we like the show and stuff, man. That's how he started.
I was on a stage dancing. As soon as I got off it, you need some oxygen. Whoa, bro. Whoa. I want to play me some basketball. My team versus
yes, sir. We should take him. Actually, we should take him back to New York City,
right?
And
wear the same socks you wore. Wear them same socks.
He probably got the same shorts. He got the same stuff.
Please don't wear those shorts. Please don't wear.
Oh boy. All right, everybody. Thanks for everybody that's in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for real here. Thank you. And next week we have Kevin Scott coming on with us.
Beautiful.
Who has moved to New York City, has really done some cool things and sort of developed his own thing while he was here. I knew this cat, he couldn't play nothing, man.
Wow.
I mean, and we're going to talk about he's from Dothan, Alabama. Bro.
Oh, wow.
Dothan, Alabama. But he's got some killer projects. He's got a project called Wednesday Night Titans with the great drummer Zach Danziger, where they dress up as wrestlers and they run WrestleMedia stuff, but it's unbelievable. Wow. And they run clips of like Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, whoever there, and they sample the voices in them. It's killing, man.
Wow.
It's crazy. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Plus his current gig with Warren Haynes and Government Mule. So be on the lookout for next week with Kevin Scott. We got some good interviews coming up also in July. Michelle Malone is going to be joining us, my sometime boss, and done a lot of work with Michelle. Also, great drummer Jay Williams, currently touring with Shaka Khan, is going to be fresh off the Tiny Desk performance that everybody's raving about. Man, did you see any of that?
Woo-hoo! Yes.
Woo! See, that's OG showing you.
Right.
This is what it is, guys. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. Mm-hmm. Not your Corey Wong, all this. No, this is how it's done. This is how it's done. So, so he'll be joining us, I believe, on the, let's see. He'll be, actually, we have a rehearsal that same day with Carla on the 16th. So the night of the 16th,
okay,
Jay Williams will be with us and Michelle will be with us the week before that. So we got some great stuff coming up, man. So stay tuned. And
shout out for the work that you're doing, brother. Great work that you're doing.
Well, I'm not alone. We've got help galore. We got our great friend Brian Falgood behind the scenes, who's really made a difference in just getting ahead of the game. And so
still gotta own that steak dinner, bro.
Okay. yeah, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen
Right.
this week or next week, because we're overdue for that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll see you guys next week. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. We're really trying to get the all the social media stuff a little bit more seen. So we got a sponsored ad going on Instagram. We're going to do one on Facebook, and the Spotify stuff is coming. I know for those of you that want to, that really are into the audio stuff. So we got some stuff up there now, but we got more stuff coming of that. It just takes time, guys. You can only do so much at a time. So with that, thank you so much for all your support, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.